Fortune favors the bold. Mr. Brown's December precept was, Fortune favors the bold. We were all supposed to write a paragraph about some time in our lives when we did something very brave, and how, because of it, something good happened to us. I thought about it a lot. To be truthful, I have to say I think the bravest thing I ever did was become friends with August. But I couldn't write about that, of course. I was afraid we'd have to read it out loud. Mr. Brown would put them up on the bulletin board like he does sometimes. So instead, I wrote about this time, how I used to be afraid of the ocean when I was little. It was dumb, but I couldn't think of anything else. I wonder what August wrote about. He probably had a lot of things to choose from. Private school. My parents are not rich. I say this because people sometimes think that everyone who goes to a private school is rich, but that isn't true with us. Dad's a teacher, and Mom's a social worker, which means they don't have those kinds of jobs where people make gazillions of dollars. We used to have a car, but we sold it when Janie started kindergarten in Beecher Prep. We didn't live in a big townhouse or in one of those doorman buildings along the park. We lived on the top floor of a five-story walk-up we rent from an old lady named Donna for the section of the North River Heights where people don't want to park their cars. Me and Jamie share a room. I overhear my parents talk about things like, can we do without air conditioning one more year? Or maybe, can I work 2 jobs maybe this summer? So today at recess, when I was hanging out with Julian and Henry and Miles, Julian, who's everyone knows is rich, was like, I hate it that I have to go back to Paris this Christmas. It's so boring. Dude, but it's like Paris, I said, like an idiot. Oh, believe me, it's so boring, he said. My grandmother lives in a house in the middle of nowhere. It's like an hour away from Paris in this tiny, tiny, tiny village. I swear to God, nothing happens there. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, there's another fly on the wall. Look, there's a dog sleeping on the sidewalk. Yippee! I laughed. Sometimes Julian could be very funny. Though my parents are talking about throwing a big party this year instead of going to Paris. Gosh, I hope so. What are you doing over break? Said Julian. Oh, I'm just hanging out, I said. You're so lucky, he said. I hope it snows again, I answered. I got this new sled that is so amazing. I was about to tell them about lightning, but Miles started talking first. I got a new sled too, he said. My dad got it from the Hammermacher Schlemmer. It's state-of-the-art. How could a sled be state-of-the-art? Said Julian. It was like $800 or something. Whoa. We should all go sledding and have a race down Skeleton Hill, I said. That hill is so lame, answered Julian. Are you kidding, I said. Some kid broke his neck there. That's why it's called Skeleton Hill. Julian narrowed his eyes and looked at me like I was the biggest moron in the world. It's called Skeleton Hill because it was an ancient Indian burial ground. Duh, he said. Anyway, it should be called Garbage Hill now. It's so freaking junky. Last time I went there, it was so gross, like soda cans and broken bottles and stuff. He shook his head. I left my old sled there, said Miles. It was the crappiest piece of junk, and then someone took it, too. Maybe a hobo wanted to go sledding, Julian laughed. Where did you leave it? I said. Oh, by the rock at the bottom of the hill. And I went back the next day, it was gone. I couldn't believe somebody actually took it. Here's what we can do, said Julian. Next time it snows, my dad could drive us all up to the golf course to Westchester. That makes Skeleton Hill look like nothing. Hey, Jack, where are you going? I started to walk away. Oh, I've got to get a book out of my locker, I lied. I just wanted to get away from there fast. I didn't want anyone to know that I was the hobo that had taken the sled. In science. I'm not the greatest student in the world, and I know some kids actually like school, but I honestly can't say that I do. I like some parts of school. I like PE, I like computer class, I like lunch, I like recess. But all in all, I'd be fine without school. And the thing I hate the most about school is all the homework we get. It's not enough that we have to sit through a class, and after class I try to stay awake And while they fill out our heads with all this stuff we'll probably never ever need to know, like how to figure out the surface area of a cube, what's the difference between kinetic and potential energy? Who cares? I've never ever heard my parents say the word kinetic in my entire life. I hate science the most of all my classes. We get so much work. It's not even funny. And the teacher, Ms. Rubin, is so strict about everything. Even the way we write our headings on the top of our papers. I once got 2 points off my homework assignment because I didn't put the date on it. Crazy stuff. Me and August were still friends. I was doing okay when we were friends in science because August sat next to me, and he always let me copy his notes. August has the neatest handwriting of anybody I've ever seen who's a boy. Even the script is neat, up and down perfectly, with really small, round, loopy letters. But now that we're ex-friends, it's bad because I can't ask him to let me copy his notes anymore. So I was kind of scrambling today, trying to take notes about what Ms. Rubin was trying to say. My handwriting is awful. When all of a sudden she started talking about the 5th grade science fair project, what we were going to choose as a science project to work on. While she was saying this, I was thinking, my God, we just finished the freaking Egyptian project. Now I gotta start a whole new thing. And in my head, I was going, oh no. Like that kid in Home Alone with his mouth hanging open and his hands in his face. That was the face I was making inside. And I thought, oh, those pictures, melting ghost faces I seen somewhere, the months open wide like they're screaming. And then all of a sudden this picture flew into my head. A memory. And I knew what summer meant by Bleeding Scream. It was so weird how it just came to me in a flash. Someone in my homeroom had dressed up like Bleeding Scream costume on Halloween. I remember seeing him a few desks away from me, and I remember not seeing him again. Oh man, it was August. All of a sudden it hit me in science class while the teacher was talking. Oh man, I've been talking to Julian about August. Oh man, now I understood. I was so mean. I don't even know why. I'm not even sure why I said it. But it was bad. It was only a minute or two. It's just that I knew Julian and everybody thought I was so weird for hanging with August all the time. I felt stupid. And I don't know why I said that stuff. I was just going along with them. I was stupid. I'm stupid. Oh my gosh. He was supposed to come as Boba Fett. I would have never said that in front of Boba Fett. But that was him. That was Bleeding Scream, sitting at the desk, looking over at us. The long white mask with the fake squirting blood, the mouth open wide, like a ghost was crying. That was him. I felt like I was going to puke. Partners. I didn't hear a word of what Ms. Rubin was saying after that. Blah, 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 blah. Science fair project, blah, 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 blah. Partners, blah, 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 blah. It was like grown-ups talking on Charlie Brown movies. Like someone talking underwater. Wah, 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 wah. Then all of a sudden, Ms. Rubin started pointing to kids around the class. Reed and Tristan, Maya and Max, Charlotte and Zima, August and Jack. She pointed to us. Miles and Amos, Julian and Henry, Savannah, and I didn't hear the test. Huh? Or the rest. Huh? I said. The bell rang. So don't forget to get together with your partners to choose a project from the list, guys, said Ms. Rubin. Everyone started taking off. I looked up at August, but he had already put his backpack on and practically out the door. I must have had the stupid look on my face because Julian came over. Looks like you and your best bud are partners. He was smirking when he said this. I hated him so much right then. Hello, Earth to Jack Will, he said, and I didn't answer him. Shut up, Julian. I was putting my loose leaf binder away in my backpack, and I was just wanted him away from me. You must be so bummed that you got stuck with him, he said. You should tell Ms. Rubin that you want to switch partners. I bet she'd let you. No, she wouldn't, I said. Ask her. No, I don't want to. Ms. Rubin, Julian said, running around, raising his hand at the same time. Ms. Rubin was erasing the chalkboard in front of the room. She turned around when she heard her name. "No, Julian," I whisper screamed. "What is it, boys?" she said impatiently. "Could we switch partners if we wanted to?" Julian said, looking very innocent. "Me and Jack had this science fair project idea we wanted to work on together." "Well, I guess I could arrange that," she started to say. "No, it's okay, Miss Rubin," I said quickly, heading out door. "Bye." Julian ran after me. "Why'd you do that?" he said, catching up to me on the stairs. "We could have been partners. You don't have to be friends with that freak if you don't want to be friends, you know." And that's when I punched him right in the mouth. Detention. Some things you just can't explain. You don't even try. You don't even know where to start. All the sentences just jumble up like a giant knot. If you opened up your mouth, any words or used any of them were wrong. Jack was this is very, very serious, said Mr. Tushman in his office, sitting in the office from his desk, looking at his pictures of a pumpkin on the wall behind him. "Kids get expelled for this kind of thing, Jack. I know you're a good kid, and I don't want that to happen, but you have to explain yourself." "This is not like you, Jack," said Mom. She had come from work as soon as they had called her. I could tell she was going to back and forth between being really mad and really surprised. "I thought you and Julian were friends," said Mr. Tushman. "We're not friends," I said. My arms were crossed in front of me. "But to punch someone in the mouth," Jack said, raising her voice. "I mean, what were you thinking?" She looked at Mr. Tushman. "Honestly, he's never hit anyone. He's never been like that. Julian's mouth was bleeding, Jack," said Mr. Tushman. "You knocked a tooth out. Did you know that?" "It was just a baby tooth," I said. "Jack," said Mom, shaking her head. That's what the nurse Molly said." "You're missing the point," yelled Mom. "I just want to know why," Mr. Tushman, raising his shoulders. It'll just make everything worse," I sighed. "Just tell me, Jack." I shrugged. But I didn't say anything. I just couldn't. If I told him that Julian had called August a freak, then he'd go get Julian and talk to Julian about it, and Julian would tell him that I had bad-mouthed August too, and everybody would find out about it. "Jack," Mom, and I started to cry. "I'm sorry." Mr. Tushman raised his eyebrows and nodded, but then he didn't say anything. Instead, he kind of blew into his hands, like you do when your hands are cold. "Jack," he said, "I don't really know what to say here. I mean, you punched a kid. We have rules about that kind of thing, you know. Automatic expulsion, and you're not even trying to explain yourself." I was crying a lot now, and the second Mom put her arm around me, I started to bawl. "Listen, Mr. Tushman," taking a glasses off to clean them. "Let's do this, Jack. We're out for winter break next week anyway. How about you stay home for the rest of this week, and then after winter break you'll come back and everything will be fresh and brand new. Clean slate, so to speak." "Am I suspended?" I sniffled. "Well," he said, shrugging, "technically yes, but it's only for a couple of days. And I'll tell you what. While you're at home, you take time to think about what's happening and what happened. And if you want to write a letter explaining what happened, a letter to Julian apologizing, and then we won't even put any of this on your record. You go home, you talk about it with your mom and your dad, and maybe in the morning you'll figure it all out a bit more." "That sounds like a good plan, Mr. Tushman," said Mom. "Thank you." "Everything is going to be okay," said Mr. Tushman, walking over to the door, which was closed. "I know you're a nice kid, Jack, and I know sometimes even nice kids do dumb things, right?" He opened the door. "Thank you for being so understanding," said Mom, shaking his hand at the door. "No problem." He leaned over and told her something quietly that I couldn't hear. "I know, thank you," said Mom, nodding. "So, kiddo," he said to me, putting his hands on my shoulders, "think about what you've done, okay? And have a great holiday. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa." I wiped my nose with my sleeve and started walking out the door. "Say thank you to Mr. Tushman," said Mom, tapping my shoulder. I stopped, turned around, but I couldn't look at him. "Thank you, Mr. Tushman," I said. "Bye, Jack," he answered. Then I walked out the door. Season's greetings. Weirdly enough, we got back home and Mom brought in the mail and the holiday card from the Julian family. There was an August family. Julian's holiday card was a picture of Julian wearing a tie, looking like he was about to go to the opera or something. August's holiday card was cute old dog wearing reindeer antlers, red nose, and red booties. And there was a cartoon bubble above the dog's head saying, "Ho, ho, ho." On the inside, the card read, "To the Will family, peace on earth. Love, Nate, Isabel, Olivia, and August, and Daisy." Cute card, huh? Said Mom, who had hardly said a word to me the whole way home. I think she honestly just didn't know what to say. "That must be their dog," I said. "Do you want to tell me what's going on inside your head, Jack?" She answered to me seriously. "I bet they put the picture of the dog on the card every year," I said. She took the card from my hands, looked at the picture carefully, and she raised her eyebrows and her shoulders and gave me the card back. "We're very lucky, Jack. There's so much we take for granted." "I know," I said. I knew she was talking about this without having to say it. I heard that Julian's mom actually photoshopped August's face out of the class picture when she got it. She gave a copy to a couple of the other moms. "That's just awful," said Mom. "People are just, they're not always so great." "I know. Is that why you hit Julian?" No. And then I told her why I punched Julian. And then I told her what August, my ex-friend now, and I told her all about Halloween. Letter, emails, Facebook text. Dear December 18th. Mr. Tushman, I'm very sorry for punching Julian. It was very, very wrong of me to do that. I'm writing a letter to him that says that too. If it's okay, I would really rather not tell you why I did what I did because it really doesn't make it right anyways. Also, I would rather not make Julian get in trouble for having said something he should not have said. Very sincerely, Jack Will. Dear Julian, I'm very, very sorry for hitting you. It was wrong of me. I hope you are okay. I hope your grown-up tooth grows in fast. Mine always do. Sincerely, Jack Will. December 26th. Dear Jack, thank you so much for your letter. One thing I've learned after being a middle school director for 20 years, there are almost always more than one side of every story. Although I don't know the details, I have an inkling about what you may have sparked the confrontation with Julian. While nothing justifies striking another student, ever, I also know good friends are sometimes worth defending. This has been a tough year for a lot of students, as the first year of middle school usually is. Keep up the good work, and you are a fine boy. We all know you are. All the best, Lawrence Tushman, Middle School Director. Email. Dear Mr. Tushman, I spoke with Amanda and John Will yesterday, and they expressed the regret at Jack having punched our son Julian in the mouth. I am writing to you to let you know that my husband and I support your decision to allow Jack to return to Beecher Prep after a 2-day suspension. Although I think hitting a child would be a valid grounds for expulsion in other schools, I agree extreme measures aren't warranted here. We have known the Will family since our boys have been in kindergarten. We are confident that they will be taken to ensure that this doesn't happen again. To that end, I wonder if Jack's unexpectedly violent behavior might be the result of too much pressure being placed on his young shoulders. I am speaking specifically about the new child with special needs in both Jack and Julian's class that befriended. In retrospect, having seen the child in question at various school functions and in the class pictures, I think it may have been too much to ask for our children to be able to process all that. Certainly, when Julian mentioned he was having a hard time befriending the boy, we told him that he was off the hook in that regard. We think the transition to middle school is hard enough without having to place greater burdens and hardships on these young, impressionable minds. I should also mention that as a member of the school board, I was a little disturbed that more consideration was not given during the child's application process and the fact that Beecher Prep is not an inclusion school. We are, many parents, myself included, question the decision to let this child into our school at all. At the very best, I somewhat troubled that the child was not held at the stringent application standards, i.e. interview, that the rest of the incoming middle school students were. My best, Melissa Paper Elbians. Dear Mr. Albans, Mrs. Albans, thank you for your email outlining your concerns. Where I am not convinced Jack Will is extremely sorry. were I not convinced Jack Will was extremely sorry for his actions, and were I not confident that he would not repeat those actions, rest assured that I would not be allowing him back to Beach Prep. As for your other concerns regarding the student of August, please note that he does not have special needs. He is neither disabled nor handicapped, nor developmentally delayed in any way, so there's no reason to assume anyone should take issue with his admittance to Beecher Prep, whether it is inclusion school or not. In terms of the application process, the administration director and I both felt within our right to hold the interview off-site at August's home for reasons that are obvious. We felt that the slight break in protocol was warranted, but in no way prejudicial, in one way or another, to the application review. So August is an extremely good student. He has secured friendships of truly exceptional young people, including Jack Will. At the beginning of the school year, when I enlisted children to become a welcoming committee to August, I did so as a way of easing the transition to a school environment. I did not think asking these children to especially be kind to a new student would place any extra burdens or hardships on them. In fact, I thought it would teach them a thing or two about empathy and friendship and loyalty. As it turns out, Jack Will did not need to learn any of these. He already had this in abundance. Thank you again for being in touch. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for being understanding about the incident with Jack. He is, as you know, extremely sorry for his actions. I hope you do accept our offer to pay for Julian's dental bills. We are touched by your concern regarding Jack's friendship with August, but please know we have asked Jack if he felt any undue pressure about any of this, and his answer is no. He enjoys August's company and feels that he has made a good friend. Hope you have a great new year. John and Amanda Will. Hi, August. Jackalope Will wants to be friends with you on Facebook. Message. Hey, August. It's me, Jack Will. I notice I'm not on our friends list anymore. Hope you find me again, cause I'm really sorry. I just wanted to say that sorry. I know what you're mad about now, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that stuff. I was stupid. I hope you can forgive me. Hope we can be friends again, Jack. I got your message. You know why I'm mad about you? Did Summer tell you? Jack to August. She told me a bleeding scream face hint, but she didn't tell me at first. Then I remember seeing bleeding scream at the Halloween party. I didn't know it was you. I thought you were coming as Boba Fett. I changed my mind last minute. Did you really punch Julian? Yeah, I punched him and knocked out a tooth in the back. A baby tooth. August. Why'd you punch him? I don't know. Liar. I bet he said something about me, right? He's a jerk. But I was a jerk too. You really sorry for what I said, dude. Okay? Can we be friends again? Okay. Awesome. But tell me the truth, okay? Would you really want to kill yourself if you were me? No, I swear on my life. But dude, I would want to kill myself if I were Julian. LOL. Yes, dude. We're friends again.